can start to really picture themselves in WSL 2 again next season. And they are keen for a fast start as Graham looked to pick out Adam Louis. Ipswich really, for a time, looked dead and buried, but 9 January signings has made a huge difference. And of course, David Wright coming into the picture as well as interim coach. They chose to part company with Joe Sheehan, and that has really reignited Ipswich. And what a start it could be. Adam Louis getting the other side, still going, a good advantage played, and what a chance that is to take an early lead. Sophie Peskett couldn't have wished for a better opportunity. Well, prior to the game, she said she wanted to put things right. Along with all of her teammates, a really good advantage played by the referee as Adam Louis went down. What a great opportunity that was. Last season's Player of the Year as well, with 23 goals in their promotion. You wouldn't really want it to fall to anyone else. But a let-off for that Southampton defence. Simpson's touch is a little bit loose. Well, looked like it should have been a Ipswich Town throw-in, but it will be one for the visitors instead. You could just make out in the middle of the pitch there the vastly experienced Amy Palmer, indicating to her teammates that we just need to settle down here. That's Bashford. Collett. Early touch for Ferguson, the one Southampton change. Lovely little bit of play around the corner. That falls fortuitously, and Southampton are in front. And it's Mary Bashford again. What a start to this game. And how Ipswich will rue that golden opportunity at the other end. Bashford at the double against Ipswich back in September, wasting no time in giving her side the lead in the end of March. It's brilliantly created by Ferguson. The one change coming in today, Simon Parker said she's in because she makes a difference. She is a direct runner at fullbacks. Goodness me, doesn't Bethan Rowe know that? And Bashford scores her 5th goal of the season. 3 of them have come against Ipswich. Well, the rest of this game has a lot to live up to if the first 2.5 minutes or so were anything to go by. Southampton starting the weekend 6th, looking to close the gap to 5th place Bristol City to just 2 points. We'll of course keep you across what's going on as well in the steel city of Sheffield, where 10th in the table Sheffield United are entertaining bottom club Portsmouth, with Ipswich Town sandwiched between the two near the foot of WSL 2. It's a lovely bit of control. Graham finds Adam Louis. Rowe needs a bit of support. Tries to twist and turn away from Ferguson, who does quite well to prevent that from going behind for a corner kick. Bethan Rowe, who signed in the summer from Charlton, where she made 11 appearances for the Addicts last season. Say it quietly in these parts. She's a Norwich girl. Rowe gets it back from Graham. Kavanagh now, dispossessed by the goal scorer Bashford. All fall down in a heap. Primus can't control it. Southampton skipper working hard. And that'll be a free kick, I think, to Southampton in the end. Feels like it should be Ipswich. No doubt who came off on the worst side of that. It will be an Ipswich Town free kick. Primus getting nowhere near the ball. I just wondered for a moment whether or not the referee had given it the other way because of the apparent injury to Atlanta Primus. Also at Charlton last season, where she will have been teammates with Bethan Rowe. Opportunity for Ipswich Town to respond. Adam Louis was the target. It's Paige Peake on the ball. Of Southampton last season, made 19 appearances for the Saints. Good challenge. Ipswich thinking about a quick throw-in. Adam Louis. Another Ipswich throw-in then. Perhaps crucially have a couple of games in hand over Portsmouth. There is Simon Parker, who conceded in the build-up to this game that they aren't thinking about the teams above them because promotion might well now be out of the question for Southampton. Certainly no longer in their hands. Oh, cut out in the middle of the midfield by Mitchell. That goal for Southampton will come as great relief, given that they'd failed to score in their previous 2 league outings. Last week's 0-0 draw at Durham and a 1-0 defeat against Birmingham City. Palmer. Past Kavanagh and out to the ever-dangerous Ferguson. What a lovely ball that is for the goal-scorer Bashford to chase after. I thought for all the world she'd catch it, but the ball just trickling away from Bashford in the end. Has proven to be a good signing from Charlton Athletic, Mary Bashford. And ever present this season for Southampton in the middle of the midfield. Ipswich Town fans will be thrilled to see the back of her this season. This is McAloney. Simpson getting forwards in support. Tegan McGowan. Tricky footwork, almost too tricky for herself for a moment. Keeps it in before putting it out. Ipswich Town throwing it'll be. A loan signing in January from Birmingham City. There is David Wright, who has really turned Ipswich Town's season around. Called last week's 2-0 defeat at Nottingham Forest a speed bump. This is certainly another one of those bumps so far today. Low driven ball, looking for Bashford. Quite a hopeful lob in the end. And food and drink for Natalia Negri. Primus shuffles that to Palmer. Glorious day in Suffolk. Only another reminder that the end of the season is nigh. That'll be an Ipswich throw-in. Beth Rowe started at her hometown club of Norwich City before moving on to Brighton and Hove Albion. Palmer wins it back for Southampton. Anna Louis there too for the Tractor Girls. Shouts for handball off of the West Ham Academy product. It'll be a throw-in instead. Ipswich Town started this game so well. Had that glorious opportunity through Sophie Peskett, who fired just wide. But that good start came to an end about 2 minutes in when Southampton scored, almost directly after the Peskett chance. Another opportunity to put a dangerous ball into that penalty area. Primus got ahead to it. Goddard was forwards too. Atlanta Primus in desperate need of a goal. Hasn't scored in her last 11 games. Not the only thing that she's there for, of course, though. Very much a leader, captain's armband, and pops up all over the pitch. Often technically listed as a striker, but almost the ultimate utility player, really. Just fills whatever gap they need. Today finds herself drifted out to that left-hand side there and trying to mark the tall Leah Mitchell. The best clearance away in the world there from Kenzie Weir. But Negri comes out and sweeps up in behind. Kenzie Weir, incidentally, making her debut today for Ipswich Town. Ferguson winning the slide challenge. Palmer, Primus. And Ferguson again. Collett's ball. Awkward, but then again sows the clearance. Bashford climbing. And it's from not clearing their lines that Southampton goal was scored. Megan Collett, one of the Saints' longest-serving players, was part of the promotion-winning side now 4 years ago. Clearance hasn't gone really the desired distance. Kavanagh back there. Goes to ground. Opportunity on the swivel for Michaela McAloney. Herself no goal in 6. Good direct ball and a flick on as well. Ashworth Clifford will chase, but Collett will get there first. Stenson taking no chances. And Louis just catching Amy Goddard, and that looked to be a sore one for the former Sunderland defender. Palmer. Goddard now moving not too badly. Kavanagh picks up the loose ball, gets the other side of Primus, tries to set Peskett away. Ipswich might well get a second attempt at that with Boswell's ball forward. Adam Louis does well to lay that off to Peskett. And Boswell's going again down the right wing. Peskett won't find her though. McGowan trying to make the most of the space that was vacated by the Ipswich Town fullback, but a free kick in the process. This a 5th meeting between the two sides. Southampton have won 2 of them. Ipswich won the very first encounter, a 2-0 victory on the South Coast, which is now over 5 years ago. The Saints winning the last 2, 4-0 in September and 2-1 prior to that. That's a good turn, a good attempted turn, but brilliantly read by Palmer. Adam Louis and Bourne tussling. Adam Louis coming off better out of the 2 and setting Peskett away. Ashworth Clifford to aim at, cuts it back instead. This is Graham! What a block! It's a quite outstanding break from Ipswich Town. Peskett does everything right, as does Graham. But the recovering challenge is outstanding. This is a first corner kick of the game. Leah Mitchell offering some height as a late arrival towards the back post. Not cleared away, and that's Paige Peake with the effort. Excellent clearance off the line and a brilliant save. Crunching challenge. No doubt got the ball, but certainly got some of the player as well. Last-ditch defending from Southampton. Paige Peake with an effort at the back post. What a clearance. I think that from Mary Bashford, the goal scorer. And that is a sore one for Megan Collett. Well, again, Ipswich threatening that Southampton goal. 3 brilliant opportunities now. And the last time that Ipswich were knocking at the Southampton door, the Saints went up the other end and scored. But there is a ever-increasing pattern of play now starting to develop, with Ipswich developing more of an attacking threat. Not a good clearance, though, from Negri, and Palmer's going to try a luck. Worth a go. Perhaps what she said as well to her teammates, worth a go. One goal for the club this season came against Portsmouth in January in the South Coast Derby. Another poor clearance from Natalia Negri. Primus comes up with it. McGowan down off the ball. Graham wins it back for Ipswich. Swarmed upon, though, as Palmer recovered possession and then conceded it immediately. Goddard. Simpson let that run. Probably asked too much of herself in the end, with Beth Rowe getting there first. A good crowd in at Portman Road. A couple of days ago, they'd already sold 7,000 tickets. Hoping their side can get back into this game. Goddard's header. Peskett also flicks that. Palmer, very much the quarterback of this Southampton team this afternoon. Spraying passes left and right. Well controlled by McAloney. Wants it again, but it's with Ferguson. McAloney. Lovely little flick that is for Collett. Into a dangerous area too, but well cut out. Adamulu will chase that gamely, but always going to be a big ask to get on the end of it. One of the 9 January signings. Referee Amy Keir just keen to ensure that Megan Collett doesn't go walkabout down the touchline too far. Simon Parker is directly in front there. That is Keir. Made her Champions League debut as an assistant referee earlier this season. Where's ball cut out by Collett. There is a bit of urgency there from Kit Graham to want to take a quick throw-in. It's with Rowe. Ashworth Clifford looking for Kavanagh, but Primus will beat her to the ball. Chased by Mitchell. Now McGowan. Simpson offering the underlap. Peskett will get there first, tracking back well. Primus lets the ball run. Palmer back to Primus again. Long sweeping ball forwards. That first header doesn't quite get the job done. The second one doesn't either. Great chance for McGowan, who couldn't keep it down. Scored a couple of goals in recent weeks since joining on loan from Birmingham. That's an excellent opportunity. Maybe the presence of the recovering defender might have just put her off. Still just 21 years old, one of a raft of talented young footballers who started out at Chelsea. Again, Southampton come up with the Ipswich Town goal kick. That's becoming a bit of a theme. All been a bit hit and miss for the Saints in recent weeks. 1 win in 4, 2 wins in 6 prior to today, where today looks a bit more hit than miss. Still goalless, meanwhile, in the Steel City, where Sheffield United are hosting Portsmouth. That 10th against 12th. Rowe, the guilty party here, meanwhile, at Portman Road. Can be no question that Beth Rowe is struggling a little bit to come to terms with Abby Ferguson down that channel. Ferguson, who's missed the last 6 games through injury. In swinging ball to come. Punched by Negri. Kavanagh's header. And Adamalouis will chase after that. Peskett will be the target. Well blocked by Goddard. That's another painful one for her troubles. Adamalouis' header. Bourne, Goddard left it short. Peskett sneaks in. Ashworth Clifford! And Ipswich are level. Ipswich Town punishing Southampton at the back. Deservedly on terms. Miscommunication between the two Southampton centre-halves. Peskett does brilliantly, reads it so well, and then plenty of composure with first the delivery and then the finish. And you can't say that Ipswich don't deserve to be level. Such an improved proposition under David Wright. Probably the 4th golden opportunity that they've had through the first 27, 28 minutes. Finally, they take one. Just 2 defeats in their last 8 games. It is a marked improvement. And here they come again. The goal scorer, Ashworth Clifford. That was a risky-looking challenge from Bourne. Committed early. Got a bit of the ball. Corner kick it'll be. Good ball, good break. And as you can see there, Tara Bourne decided what she was going to do very, very early. The stats support that this is an even game. That one in the top corner is the most important, but 5 shots apiece each. The last corner kick from Rowe caused all sorts of chaos. This one just had Stenson on her toes for a brief moment. Crowded 6-yard box, trying to put it underneath Fran Stenson's crossbar. Kavanagh, Adamalouis. Graham makes the challenge on Primus, who goes down. Looked a painful one, but this is Peskett. Fakes to shoot, now does shoot, blocked by her own player. Safe to say Sophie Peskett has got a tail up. That's a free kick. Kavanagh barrelling through the back of Ferguson. Sophie Peskett, who should have given Ipswich the lead in the first minute and a half or so. instrumental in the equaliser. McGowan spins away from Boswell. Oh, and gets past Boswell into that penalty area. It's still McGowan. The shot in the end tame. The trickery to get herself into a shooting position was excellent. Louis trying to spin away from Goddard. Towering Southampton centre-half. Stays the right side of the powerful Ipswich striker as Rowe takes a quick throw. Collett, Bashford. Escalating. McGowan slipping away from Boswell once more. That's turning into a good battle between the two of them as McGowan gets a ball in. Bashford with an eye for goal, certainly against Ipswich Town. Trying to get a second of the afternoon. It has been a breathless opening half an hour or so at Portman Road. The sort of game that is fitting of the occasion. WSL Football has launched their brand new app earlier this week, offering fans of both the Barclays WSL and Barclays WSL 2 a front row seat to exclusive content and all the games broadcast on the league's YouTube channels. To download the app for free, fans can search WSL Football in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store. Thankfully, the weather has been kind as well for the bumper crowd at Portman Road. McGowan. Meanwhile, an important goal has gone in South Yorkshire. Sheffield United ahead against Portsmouth. That will only boost Ipswich Town's chances of staying in the WSL 2 for a second season. This, of course, their maiden campaign in the second tier. I'll keep you across developments at Bramall Lane for the remainder of the afternoon as Ipswich give the ball away through Weir. Ferguson came up with it. Bashford still has the ball. Eventually surrounded, and it's Kavanagh that recovers possession for Ipswich, and her teammate Kenzie Weir will be thrilled with that. Adama Louis, lovely touch to take her away from Goddard. Peskett there for company, but Adama Louis fancies this. Awkward deflection. Keeper will come though and claim. Paige Peake coming across and sweeping up for Ipswich Town. Nice football. This is Peskett. Adama Louis offside, so has to leave that. Fitting, really, that Sophie Peskett is enjoying such a starring role here this afternoon at Portman Road. She's a real trailblazer for the club, became their first professional women's player to sign for them in 2024. So holds a first-class degree in sport and exercise science. Scored 23 goals last season, securing the League Below's Golden Boot. Primus. For Goddard, who had to shovel that out of her feet quickly. Kavanagh. Ashworth-Clifford. Good ball. Adam Louis chasing after it. How inviting was that? And that's wonderful skill from McGowan, who again is trying to dance herself away from Boswell. McAloney in need of some support. The ever-available Palmer. Bashford couldn't bring this one under her spell. And a little clumsy with the drag back. And that'll be a Ipswich Town free kick inside the final 10 minutes of this first half. Quite the weekend across the Barclays WSL and WSL 2. It is in the top flight local derby weekend, if you will. A slew of head-to-head cross-city rivalry games going on there. Whilst here in WSL 2, and a reminder, you can watch all of the action tomorrow on the WSL YouTube channel, the WSL 2 YouTube channel. 4 games kicking off at 2 o'clock tomorrow, including a Wear Tyne derby, Sunderland hosting Newcastle United. In London, Crystal Palace against Charlton. If Charlton win at Selhurst Park, they will secure promotion to the top flight with 3 games to spare. Turn from McGowan, this time asked too much of herself, Boswell. Adam and Louis. Primus does well. Does really well. The whole pitch opens up for her as she sprints into the sunlight. All forwards in the end, just let her down. Kenzie Weir on the ball. Daughter of Scotland, Everton, Rangers legend David Weir. Plenty to be pleased with for both coaches, David Wright and Simon Parker, on that near touchline. Kavanagh looking for Adam and Louis. Southampton player gone down off the ball. Might well have been Collett. It's Paige Peak. Looking for Mitchell. Found Primus instead. Ipswich Town 3 unbeaten at home, winning their last outing in Suffolk against Durham by 2-1. This is the first time they've played at Portman Road this season, as McGowan continues to be a box full of tricks, winning her side of first corner kick of the game. It's Tara Bourne who'll take the corner kick. She has the sort of aerial prowess that would make you think that she'd be well suited to be in the middle of the penalty area, but often takes these, bending that awkwardly for Negri. Well taken catch in the end, and wanting to kick-start a fast counter-attack, looking for Ashworth-Clifford. Collett's done well there, because I think she might well have lost that in the sun for a moment. Good defensive header won by Weir. Strong challenge from Primus on Graham. Likewise, though, from Kavanagh on Primus. This is Peskett. Peskett, as she'll be known on the South Coast. Excellent ball for Adam Louis. And that's an equally impressive challenge from Amy Goddard. A sore one for both. Mitchell, Peskett goes down, wants a free kick, gets one. Goddard feeling the after effects of that collision with Adam Louis. Came through the academy at West Ham United, but set off for the United States of America to earn her fortune, Princess Adam Louis. Joined Ipswich from New York City-based Gotham FC. Well, it was a frantic start to the game. We'll have a quick look back now at this juncture of the two goals, which will rue that golden opportunity at the other end. Mary Bashford with the opener for Southampton. And the equaliser came from an error at the back for the Saints. Peskett finding Ashworth Clifford for her second goal in Ipswich Town colours. One of a slew of opportunities for Ipswich Town that. Peskett should have opened the scoring prior to Southampton doing so within the first couple of minutes. Ashworth Clifford, though, who joined in January from Italian club Lazio, also formerly of Lewis and Celtic. Paige Peskett stood over the ball. Long range effort, had to be quite brilliant from there to trouble Francis Stenson in the Southampton goal. It was Kit Graham who fired from range, still looking for her first goal for the Tractor Girls. Another one of those January signings, this time on loan from Tottenham. Amy Goddard, meanwhile, appears to be okay after that collision with the Ipswich striker Adam Louis. There is Adam Louis. Peskett. Now looking for a bit of support from Boswell, but after such trickery to buy herself a bit of space, put too much behind that pass. That might run well beyond the Southampton defenders, and Adam Louis hares after it. Princess Adam Louis looking to pick out the far corner. Well blocked. Boswell gets there in front of McGowan. Bit of space for a cross as well, as Mitchell in support. Trying to pick out Graham. Mitchell does well. Kavanagh. Speculative. Just 2 minutes of additional time then at the end of this entertaining first half of football at Pullman Road. Bumper crowd has been treated to plenty of action at either end. Primus picks out Simpson. Switch flanks for the time being. Oh, referee tried to hurdle the ball. Goddard. Headed by Weir. Only as far as Bashford. This is Ferguson. Strong challenge made by the Ipswich Town goal scorer Ashford Clifford. Perhaps one final opportunity for Southampton to nudge themselves back in front. Palmer. Cut out by Kavanagh. Ferguson bundled over by Adam Louis, and there will be just enough time for one final free kick, one final foray for Southampton into the Ipswich penalty area. Simpson asking her head coach Simon Parker if it's going to be her who takes it. Bourne's there too. Nervy moment for those Ipswich Town supporters. It is Simpson who takes it. Not a good ball at all. Much to the delight of the home supporters, who've been treated to an enthralling first half of football in the sunshine. So they will give themselves the very best chance of success. Success is, after all, survival. It's Southampton who get us back underway at Portman Road. And an early attack here down the right-hand side for Ferguson, trying to get on the end of a Macoloni ball. There are a couple of Southampton substitutes at half-time, which we'll take you through in just a moment when we get the opportunity. It's Bethan Rowe, and that will be an Ipswich Town throw-in. So those Southampton changes saw Jess Simpson replaced by Millie Mott. And the other change, Tara Bourne, who was in the wars in that first half, replaced by Ellie Hack. Here is Mott, as you can see there on the ball now for Southampton. Confirmation of the changes in your top left-hand corner. It's Primus beats Peskett to the ball. Collett, who played right fullback in the first half, is now on the left-hand side and has a good opportunity to stick a devilish ball into the penalty area. That's exactly what it is. Not an easy one to clear away. Hasn't McGowan done well there to get away initially from Adam Louis, and then does so again. The referee thought about awarding a free kick just for the endeavour, but took the whistle away from her lips. Now Peskett will give Primus a run for her money, and Peskett fancies herself with the pace and the trickery. Peskett couldn't pick out a blue shirt, gets another go at it. Kit Graham couldn't keep her effort down. For the second time today, Peskett's found it. A smile, a shake of the head, rueful acknowledgement that she's had two excellent opportunities as a result of Peskett's creative play to score an Ipswich Town goal. Collett's ball, well controlled by Macoloni. Now McGowan, Boswell thinking about the early challenge. McGowan possibly caught in two minds as to whether or not she wanted to try and take Boswell on or find the inside ball for the underlap. It will be a Saints throw-in. Collett. Too strong for Primus and McGowan. So 1-1 here at Portman Road. It's still 1-0 to Sheffield United as 10th play 12th in South Yorkshire. Not a scoreline that benefits Ipswich Town. That's Collett, does well. McGowan, with Boswell much closer to it in this second half. McGowan giving Boswell the bit of a run around. This is what the current scorelines mean for the bottom of the Barclays WSL 2 table. Ipswich, who started the day outside of that bottom place on goal difference alone, with this draw as things stand, would move a point above Portsmouth, who continue to trail Sheffield United. Incidentally, Southampton will host Sheffield United on Good Friday, a game that you'll be able to catch on the Barclays WSL 2 YouTube channel. Goddard, good ball forwards. McAloney turns it round the corner for Primus. All opens up for her. Now McGowan. Well closed down, though, by the Ipswich skipper, Boswell. And wins the second ball, too. Pescott looking for Adam Louis. Goddard right on top of her. Primus back to Goddard again. Now Palmer. So that entire right side of the Southampton back line is now different from the first half, as McAloney couldn't quite control that one. Fizzed up towards her, with Ellie Hack, the right-sided centre-half, and Millie Mott playing right full-back. McGowan. Collett's long, sweeping ball into the middle. Brilliantly flicked on by Bashford. The ball just outrunning Michaela McAloney. Mott to Bashford, who started the goal scoring this afternoon inside the first couple of minutes. A bit wild, that ball. Collett won't be able to keep it in. Directly in front of Simon Parker. An apology from McAloney, Scottish 24-year-old, signed from Hibernian last summer. Adam Louis just struggling for separation in the early stages of the second half. I think the Southampton defenders have squeezed up on the likes of her and Well, they're trying to do so with Peskett as well. At the other end, Boswell's looking to do the same with the tricky McGowan, who now picks up the ball. Look at that footwork. Primus, McAloney can't hold it up. Adamalui does just that, and here goes Peskett, player of the match by a country mile so far. That'll be an Ipswich Town throw-in. Maria Boswell to take it, became captain in the December of 2023. Has been at the club for 6 years now. And still just 23 years old. Good header from Graham. Peskett's fizzing cross. Nice idea. Adamalui thanks Peskett for the ball into the 6-yard box. Would have asked a lot, though, of Princess Adamalui pace-wise to get on the end of it. Awkward bouncing ball there for Beth Rowe. Kavanagh has it, though. Ferguson goes down. Safe to say that Kavanagh didn't agree with the referee's decision to award Southampton a throw. And Southampton have really shored things up defensively. Conceded the fewest goals in the Barclays WSL 2 so far in 2026. Just 6 goals in what will be 8 games. On the conclusion of this, as Adamalui looks to chase after one and making a real nuisance of herself. Does so well to win Ipswich Town a corner kick. Looking for a second goal in the blue of Ipswich. Adamalui scored the opener in their 2-1 win against Durham a fortnight ago. A crowded 6-yard box, particularly to that back post. It's Beth Rowe with the in-swinging corner kick. And an important header behind from a Southampton defender, I thought. It appeared to come off of Mary Bashford. But perhaps the referee saw a nudge, because it will be a Southampton ball. It clearly came off Bashford last. Mott. Now Collett steering the play in the direction of Tegan McGowan. Boswell thought that crossed the line, not from my vantage point. A little tricky for her own good there, Megan Collett. Just the 1 goal to her name, which came at Crystal Palace in September. Ipswich Town go to Palace next weekend as David Wright watches on. Simon Parker admitting that automatic promotion might just about be out of reach for them now. 1 win in the last 4, 2 in 6 has probably seen them miss out at a crucial stage of the season. Kit Graham. Nice football as Mitchell finds Peskett, and nobody dare touch Peskett. Brilliant from Sophie Peskett. Equally impressive from Fran Stenson. Such tricky play. And it was destined for the top corner. So this a fourth corner kick of the game for Ipswich Town. Looking to get in front for the first time this afternoon. Keeper comes, doesn't get a huge amount of it. Falls to Kavanagh. Driven into a bundle of bodies, as it was there once more. Ashworth Clifford can't really afford to lose possession here, Ipswich, as they have done, because Southampton will look to counter-attack. And that'll be a free kick. Twinkle toes from Sophie Pescott. It might have just taken a flick off of the boot of, I think, Mary Bashford. But it's an excellent stop. If it did take a deflection, then the save is even more impressive. Pescott must be thinking what she has to do to get a goal today at Portman Road. Primus forced wide, clatters into the water bottles. Adam and Louis to Graham. Has the target of Ashworth Clifford, who attempted to stab that past Hack. Hack switched on, though, the half-time substitute. One of two changes, as Millie Mott also entered the fray. But these corners really starting to stack up now as we approach the hour mark. Adam and Louis will be a target, as will Liam Mitchell, who you can see there leaning on Mott. Inviting ball to the back post. Kavanagh will hit it first time. Scrambled clear by Amy Goddard. Not for the first time this afternoon, Natalia Negri's distribution letting herself down. Pescott. Well dealt with by Primus. Another important development, meanwhile, in South Yorkshire. Sheffield United have doubled their advantage against Portsmouth. As things stand, it looks as though there will be no revival, not today anyway, from Southampton's South Coast rivals, which benefits Ipswich Town. They are moving 1 point away from danger. Were they able to hang on to this draw, this scoreline against Southampton, though that is a big if, as Mott attacks and Ferguson fires well over. Ipswich's form over the last 8 has been good enough for mid-table, earning more points since early December than the likes of Forest, Durham, Portsmouth and Sheffield United. Plenty to be encouraged about of late, including at home. Win against Durham, also held champions-elect Charlton to a 1-1 draw, and promotion-chasing Bristol City to the same scoreline. They were bottom of the table when David Wright, who you just saw the back of there a moment ago, took charge in January. Palmer does brilliantly. Finds McGowan, who's just cut in off of that left flank. Receives the ball from McAloney. Still McGowan. Twisting, turning, hitting. Striking the ball off of Mitchell. Long and hopeful that, though, from Ipswich Town, as Southampton starting to enjoy more and more of the possession. Around 60-61% of the ball at the moment throughout the game is with the visiting side. Albeit Ipswich Town have had more than double the amount of efforts on goal. Maybe an afternoon where David Wright and his charges rue some wasteful finishing. Kavanagh. Mitchell, forwards to Graham. Four games still to come this weekend in Barclays WSL 2. All four of them 2 o'clock kickoffs tomorrow afternoon. Remember, those clocks go forward, so don't get caught out. Arguably the biggest of the lot, and there is a Weir Tyne derby in the mix as Ipswich Town get a free kick. Collett goes across to check on Peskett. About the only way that you can stop Sophie Peskett this afternoon. Now, Sunderland hosting Newcastle tomorrow at 2 o'clock. Nottingham Forest, Durham. Bristol City, Birmingham City, and the pick of the bunch at Selhurst Park. Crystal Palace against Charlton. Charlton will go to South London knowing that victory guarantees them promotion. Not the title yet, but the top two this season getting automatic promotion. Not the most of convincing clearances. Goddard will give McAloney a second attempt at that now, though. Collett to McAloney, and this is much more her forte. Picking the ball up, green grass in front of her, running with it. Asking too much, though, of Tegan McGowan. Of course, the Barclays WSL 2 YouTube channel is the place to go for all of those 2 o'clock kickoffs tomorrow. And the WSL Football have just launched their brand new app earlier this week. It offers fans of both the Barclays WSL and Barclays WSL 2 a front row seat to exclusive content and all the games broadcast on the league's YouTube channels. You can download the app for free. Fans search WSL Football in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store. Painful clash of heads involving Southampton's Amy Goddard and I think Kit Graham from Ipswich Town. Goddard appears to be okay. Concerning, though, for Graham. Both players only had eyes for the ball. Good to see the Scottish forward sitting up. So important that protocol be followed in these moments. Southampton's Ellie Brazil is missing out today because of sustaining concussion in the goalless draw at Durham last weekend. And you can see the Saints are readying a change there with Maria Edwards stripped and ready to come on. Leah Mitchell was one of 5 Ipswich changes to date. David Wright saying that the reason why they've made so many is because they've looked at what Southampton do, and the changes are designed to negate their threats and improve the Tractor Girls' attacking endeavour. It's certainly done that. And so there is the change. Maria Edwards replacing Abby Ferguson. Ferguson brilliant in the first half. Helped to create the Southampton opener, but today was her first bit of football since January. Has missed the last 6 games through injury. Edwards, who of course has had her own injury problems this season, missing the start of the campaign with such. Signed in the summer from Blackburn Rovers, where she scored 11 goals in the last campaign. This is McAloney. And a first touch for Edwards. Dangerous ball to the back post, falls to Primus, but the whistle has gone. A nudge in the back from Tegan McGowan on the Ipswich defenders, I think. A good ball, though, from Maria Edwards. Certainly in announcing herself at the earliest available opportunity. Primus taking no chances as Ashworth Clifford sprints away now. Good challenge from Hack. And it will be another Ipswich Town corner kick. Just over 20 minutes remaining at Pullman Road. It does feel like there are more goals in this. The game's starting to build to somewhat of a crescendo. 3 points for Ipswich would be oh so important as they look to extend their stay in the second tier beyond just one season. 3 points for Southampton might breathe new life into otherwise flickering chances of trying to close the gap as Ashworth Clifford takes aim. Well blocked, and a throw in it'll be next to that corner flag. Atlanta Primus standing strong, getting the all-important block there as Ashworth Clifford tried to double her tally for the afternoon. Peskett, ball to the back post, nobody there for it. Mott and McGowan get themselves in a bit of a muddle and then get themselves out of it quite well indeed. Here is Tegan McGowan. Played well today. The Birmingham City loanee. In their 5 previous meetings, only one of them has ended in a draw. Southampton winning on the South Coast by 4-0 back in September, but it always felt with the improvements that Ipswich have made that today would be a much tighter affair. Good flick on from Kit Graham, who shows no ill effects of the bang on the head she got with the collision a few moments ago. Here's Peskett. And look at the attention she draws from those Southampton defenders. Rather unorthodoxly wins her side a corner kick. Absolutely brilliant this afternoon, Sophie Peskett. The only complaint, she should have given her side the lead inside the first 90 seconds or so. But the creator of the equalizer and so many other chances besides. 16 total shots on goal now for Ipswich Town. The referees spotted a bit of pushing and shoving between Millie Mott and Leah Mitchell. Mott, the more diminutive of the two, stood between Mitchell and her goalkeeper, Fran Stenson, came off the bench at half-time. An in-swinging corner kick to come then from Ashworth Clifford. Oh, so disappointing for those big defenders who have made the long journey, tongue-in-cheek, up from the halfway line. Never like to see those. There are goals in this Southampton team, certainly on the road. Scored more goals away from home in recent weeks than any other side in the Barclays WSL 2, apart from Newcastle. Southampton finding their mark 16 times in 9 away games so far this season. Less impressive at home. Those struggles at home have been a bit of a theme for the Saints over the last couple of years. Only one home win last season in their entirety. They are next in action at home on Good Friday against Sheffield United. Ipswich Town will head for South London and Crystal Palace. Tractor Girls have one more game remaining than Southampton. They host Sheffield United after the international break towards the end of April. Kavanagh catches Primus. Colette Kavanagh, formerly of Celtic and Rangers and Hibernian, but joining in January from Deportivo La Coruña in Spain. It's Amy Palmer over the ball for Southampton. Is there a winner there for one of these two teams? Palmer's cross, Bashford challenges, awkwardly bounces as Negri comes out of a goal and gets nothing but fresh air. Mott, square to Palmer again. This time, too much on the ball for Megan Collett to chase. Good first delivery, though, from Amy Palmer. Put into such a difficult area. Negri getting that initial touch, but then not able to hold on to it. Golden Glove winner last season in Ipswich Town's promotion campaign. Just the one clean sheet, though, this season. And that came at the most unlikely of destinations, at Charlton Athletic. David Wright's coaching staff readying a Ipswich change. Goddard can only concede a throw and has to switch on quickly because Boswell had thoughts of a quick throw-in. We've just lost a player there as Graham tries the spectacular. Has had one excellent chance to score today, Kit Graham. Another half chance, and that one there, not even a half chance. Famously captained Tottenham in their first FA Cup final, now almost 2 years ago at Wembley. Collett. Back to Goddard. There are options for David Wright on the Ipswich bench, particularly in the attacking areas of the pitch. Rihanna Dean there, Tash Thomas as well. But before either of those can come on, Ava Baker will replace, as the heavens open by the looks of things as well, the goal scorer Lucy Ashworth-Clifford. Hailstones falling now at Portman Road. Earlier, beautifully sunny, signs of spring. One of those days where I think we've probably had all 4 seasons in the space of one football game. Primus can't spin away from a blue wall of Ipswich Town players, but gets it again. Tegan McGowan, low ball, picked up by Peskett. Adam Louis, blocked by Palmer. As mentioned, the club's all-time record goal scorer, Tash Thomas, is one of those subs that's available. Rihanna Dean, who spent 2 years at Southampton, scored 5 goals for them last season, has 5 so far this campaign for Ipswich Town. Another one who you would think would be chomping at the bit to get on today, with a little over 10 minutes remaining now. Some of the Ipswich Town supporters are retreating to further back in the stands, out of the rain and the hail. McGowan attempting to find Edwards, who was just a touch offside. Bashford and Kavanagh exchange headers. McGowan couldn't control the ball, and now it's lobbed over the top by Graham. Adam and Louis trying to make something of it. Falls to Peskett. First time cross isn't dealt with. That's going to fall to Baker. It's deflected behind. She thinks it should have been a penalty. She thinks Bashford used her arm to block the attempted effort. What an introduction that would have been for Ava Baker off the bench. It might well have touched her arm as well. Difficult to see at full speed. Corner kick, though. An 8th of the game for Ipswich Town. The first they took way back early in the first half caused real issues in that 6-yard box, but none of them have since. What about this one from Rowe? Stenson, good punch. Only as far as Kavanagh. Flicked in and almost turned goalwards by Paige Peake. Turned away before she could reach it. Primus in a foot race with Boswell. All set up for a dramatic final 10 minutes of this game. Boswell does brilliantly to kill that ball dead. Came at her with real interest from her goalkeeper. And that'll be an Ipswich free kick that Peskett wants to take in a hurry. Well, was this blocked with the arm of Bashford? Baker hits it. It might well have just caught the top of the left arm, but I'm not sure by the time that the ball actually hits it that it was in a unusual position which would have expanded her body, if you get my meaning. Bashford, who scored the opening goal in this game for Southampton. Long ball forward. Flicked into a dangerous area. Bashford there again. Kit Graham also. Now with Peskett. Back to Boswell. Palmer watching her wide. That'll be a throw-in. Deep in Southampton territory. Another change on the way for the visitors as Kira Senna is about to enter the fray. And Portsmouth have themselves a goal back at Sheffield United. So a nervy end to the game there now. Another goal for Portsmouth. Were they to get a draw, would see them pull level on points with Ipswich once more. Ipswich would stay above them, though, on goal difference. There is Kira Senna, who is on, replacing the tricky Tegan McGowan. And I don't think Maria Boswell will be all that sorry to see the back of the 21-year-old. First touch for Senna. Gets a pocket picked by Peskett. Senna, who hasn't played since the opening day of the season against Ipswich, when she was a substitute. Spent a long time injured, back in the squad for the first time today. There is confirmation of the attendance, 9,142, 133 of those have made the long journey from Southampton. It's Paige Peak. Takes the free kick, gives it to Rowe. Presumably something intended there from the training ground that hasn't come off. Not been treated to a huge amount of goals, but they have been treated to a lot of opportunities, a lot of chances this afternoon. Ipswich have had 19 shots on goal. They'll come away wondering what might have been if they don't find a way to get a winner in the final 5 minutes or so. Kavanagh to Mitchell. Saw one on the far side of the ground. Just gets her foot trodden on by the looks of things by Maria Edwards. Sarcastic oohs and ahs because of the bounce of the ball. Occasionally you see a yellow card for that sort of stuff. Not something that the referee, Amy Keir, has done once this afternoon. Kept her cards in her pocket. Let the game run where she can. There are improvements to be taken out of this from Simon Parker and Southampton. Held to a frustrating goalless draw at Durham a week ago, beaten by 1-0 against Birmingham City, so at least they've scored today. How they'd love a winner, though, as Mott finds Primus and gets it back again. That's well worked through the midfield to Palmer, but Peskett tackling back. Boswell clearing to Adam Louis. Pinballing her way through the midfield and defence off of various challenges. Former West Ham player. Still only 19 years old. Paige Peak with the delivery. Flicked on, Adam Louis close to it, Graham as well. And nodded behind for a goal kick by Kit Graham. Today her 6th appearance in a Ipswich shirt, having joined on loan from Tottenham. She's had her chances. Palmer. Graham does well. And now it's Peskett. Been so dangerous all game. Peskett into the area. Deflected away by Goddard and shepherded behind for yet another Ipswich Town corner kick. Now into double figures in that department. Every time that Sophie Peskett has gotten on the ball today, she's looked to do something creative, something dynamic with it. I don't have the power to give out the Player of the Match award, but if there was one, Sophie Peskett would be top of my list. Left-footed in swinger into that bundle of bodies. Rowe chases after it, has a couple of Southampton players to try and squeeze it past. Right-footed, cross dug out, but only into the gloves of Fran Stenson. One for the tired legs of McAloney to chase after Baker. Not allowing the Scottish Southampton player to get near that. And that will be the last bit of action for Michaela McAloney, who's worked hard today but hasn't really had the opportunities that she'll have liked. Now 7 games without a goal, replaced by Rachel Brown, a defensively minded substitution. This is just her 4th appearance of the season. All of those have come as a substitute, having missed a large chunk of the season due to an ACL injury she sustained about 13 months ago now. We're inside the final minute. I think that's Leah Mitchell who's down. Hearing that there'll be 4 minutes of additional time, 4 minutes for one of these two sides to try and find a winner. Anna Louis chests that down to Graham, and Baker's in acres of space, and she's played onside. Ava Baker, excellent challenge from Amy Goddard. It was Goddard who I think was playing her onside, so made amends quite brilliantly. As is this attack. Collett, who's now back on the right again, having started the game at right fullback, switched to the left, now back at the right. Here's Graham. Poor ball away. Millie Mott gives it to Amy Palmer. And a brief halt to proceedings. Ava Baker struggling from that shot on goal a moment ago. That was so well charged down by Amy Goddard. Such a good break from Ipswich Town. Baker's eyes must have lit up. But just the slightest of touches on the follow through on the foot of Baker. Joined in January on loan from Birmingham City. Created both goals in the game against Durham. Started her career at Leicester City and to this day is Leicester City's youngest ever scorer. She was just 16 at the time. Just a couple of minutes or so of stoppage time remaining at Portman Road. There may be extra though for that injury to Baker. Primus. First time effort. Turned behind for what is only a second corner kick of the game for Southampton. Have had to weather a lot of storms at the other end, trying to keep Ipswich out in this second half. Ipswich have now had 21 attempts on goal to Southampton's 9. Can they now, late on in stoppage time, try and nick a winner? Ball to the back post. Goddard wins the initial header. Then a challenge in there. Looked to be a hand as I think Peskett leaned across, but the referee not interested in any of the appeals from the Southampton players. Interested to see that again. And it'll be a throw-in for Ipswich inside the final minute of 4 that have been added on. Bounces awkwardly away from Peskett. Initially seems to touch it with a midriff, and then it ricochets from point-blank range back onto her arm. So that would have been very, very harsh. As Sophie Peskett quite rightfully receives the Player of the Match award. Creator of the Ipswich equalizer and so many other chances besides today for her teammates. Palmer. Long ball out in the direction of Megan Collett. Peskett, who scored 3 goals so far this season, will have hoped to have got a 4th this afternoon on a famous day at Portman Road, where Ipswich Town play at this famous old stadium for the first time in their history as a second-tier club. A crowd of just shy of 10,000 along for the occasion. It has finished in South Yorkshire, Sheffield United 2, Portsmouth 1, as Edwards steps away from Peake and still going. Dangerous ball in, and that's a free kick right on the edge of the Ipswich penalty area, and a first yellow card of the afternoon, right at the death for Kit Graham. So some last-ditch defending. Bashford just getting there in front of Graham. One final opportunity, surely, for Southampton to steal all 3 points. And it might be a bit of a steal as well, given the sheer volume of chances that Ipswich Town have had in this game. Amy Palmer couldn't place this free kick any better. As things stand, a precious point for Ipswich Town, if they can hang on. What a big if. I'm not sure that the referee's 100% happy with the positioning of the wall. 4-player wall from Ipswich immediately then becomes like a 7-1 because you're adding the 3 Southampton players on the end. It is Amy Palmer and all eyes on her. Palmer curls it, deflects, it's in! Southampton have won it at the death! Oh, how cruel football can be! It's Rachel Brown! So many struggles for her this season, returning from the ACL injury. Southampton have nicked it 2 minutes after stoppage time was due to finish. A freakish ricochet that bounces off Senna. And Brown couldn't believe her luck. Neither can Southampton. Neither can Ipswich. Precious reward for the 133 Southampton fans that have made such a long journey to Suffolk. And is there time for Ipswich to create one final opportunity? There's not. Boos ring out around Portman Road, boos of frustration that they've not been able to hang on for at least a point on an afternoon where they had 21 shots. It's Southampton, less than half that amount, who steal all 3 points at the death